AEW stars are reportedly frustrated, plus some other big things happening in the world of wrestling. We're going to talk about it right now on the Ango Show. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to kick things off with Reebok and the Young Bucks. This is something that actually excites me as somebody who likes sneakers. Maybe you do too. But obviously we saw on Dynamite, we saw like a little bit of a vignette, video package type thing for AEW, and more specifically the Young Bucks, who are launching a shoe line with Reebok. And obviously, if you guys know anything about fashion, then you know that Reebok has a long history of being one of the top companies when it comes to producing sportswear, shoes, things like that. And obviously, look, I like this for a variety of reasons because of the fact that I feel like it's so weird how like pro wrestling is the form of entertainment or sports entertainment where it's not as common for people to have signature shoes. I want to talk a little bit about this more in depth. Dave Meltzer was talking about this, and he was talking about the Young Bucks deal with Diadora in 2022. And basically what happened was that company produced 1,200 shoes for the Young Bucks, and they sold out of them relatively fast. So basically this led to them shopping the idea of another signature shoe, and Reebok was the one that actually took the bait. So Reebok has now signed the Young Bucks for a one shoe deal. It's a limited deal. Obviously, this is huge for a variety of reasons, but this could catapult into something bigger and better and more long term. Now, I don't know if the Roman Reigns Jordan shoe line ever dropped. I know that was rumored at one point. I don't know if there was anything that came to fruition, but it's not common to see pro wrestlers have signature shoe lines. This is what I want to see. I want to see pro wrestlers do very well with selling signature shoes. So this way, this could actually open up doors for other wrestlers to have a signature shoe line. Now, I'm going to be pretty clear because I'm a simple guy. Air Force Ones, New Balance 550s. I like to keep my stuff simple. And truth be told, I don't really care for this design. This look right here, I'm not a fan of it. But I don't wear dark colored shoes. I don't care for shoes with colors and logos and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I want this to do well because I want other wrestlers to have their own signature shoe line. Keep in mind, the Young Bucks have been notorious for incorporating shoes into their look. Different colors, different styles, different price ranges. Obviously, I say obviously, but maybe you guys didn't see this. The Young Bucks were part of Complex's shoe TV show series that they did, where they go shopping for shoes. The Young Bucks spent a lot of money. They bought very expensive, relatively rare pieces. They wore them on TV. I want to see that come to fruition for everybody else. So I want to see this sell. I want to see this do well. Even if it's not necessarily my style, it's something I definitely like to see. So just really cool in general. Like these are guys, or maybe you don't like the Young Bucks, but they've definitely incorporated being a sneakerhead into their characters, and it's come off pretty nice on TV. So yeah, I really can't find a negative to it. And I think if anybody is being negative with it, I think it's just being a pure hater because, like, look, if the Young Bucks could do it, then what about Will Ospreay? What about John Cena? What about Roman Reigns? What about, you know what I'm saying? I'm just obviously throwing out random names, but that's my point. I would love to see this become something that is more widely accepted. Guys, we all knew that MJF was working everybody when it came to the bidding war. We heard this so many times, the bidding war of 2024. And then obviously he got hurt. Nothing happened. Fightful Select has reported that MJF did in fact re-sign with the company. But in addition to that, AEW is expecting to have MJF back on TV soon. There is no date confirmed, but the belief is that perhaps by Forbidden Door, which obviously takes place in New York, June 30th, there's this belief that he will be there. Now, obviously, Fightful has not confirmed the date. They have not confirmed anything other than the fact that he did, in fact, sign a new deal. He is also one of the highest earners in the promotion. And I think it is also important to mention the fact that MJF in his current state is not technically cleared. So we talked less and less and less about the bidding war because I think we all kind of knew it was a work, right? It even got to the point where I think AEW stopped talking about it, stopped mentioning it. Then we kind of got to a point where obviously MJF got hurt. He was working hurt a little bit, then obviously pulled off of TV. So the real talk is not so much about the contract situation, but it's more about how much he is needed on television. Let's just call it what it is. The numbers have gone down, right? Like, that's not an opinion. That's a fact. I think we can all acknowledge the fact. But I think for a lot of people, they're curious as to how MJF fits in modern day AEW. And I think sometimes when I talk about MJF, I question the same thing. But this guy is a great worker. He's fantastic on the microphone, and people love him. So ultimately, he's going to get paid very well, but he's going to come to a company that is kind of moved a little bit differently since the last time he was there. For me personally, I think MJF is needed on AEW television. But I'm also a huge fan of MJF, so I want to see him go into AEW and do something new, do something cool, do something special. I don't know what that might be. I genuinely don't know. But obviously we talk about it all the time. Health before wealth. So with his injury, I am hoping that MJF gets cleared, able to come back, low risk, no long-term effects. Bring him in and put him at the top of the card. If he's one of the highest earners in the promotion, he needs to be treated as such. He shouldn't be taking a backseat to Will Ospreay or Okada or anybody like that. And, with the EVPs taking over AEW and the Elite have taken over AEW, I suggest that MJF leads the baby faces in trying to get the company back on track. That's what I would do. With that being said, I want to turn our attention to some not so positive news. And again, this is, everybody's going to hate on this, but I promise you guys, this is a concern that I've had for years, and this is something, it's not new. I genuinely believe this is not new. We have talked about it several times, but now Dave Meltzer is talking about it. He says that AEW went from the fun place to work with the great backstage camaraderie when WWE talent for the most part were walking on eggshells to a place with a lot of frustration from wrestlers making a nice and even great living, but not getting anywhere near the ring time nor upward mobility hoped for. With so many rosters, with so many people on the roster, the concern here is that people want TV time. People want to be doing something. They really do want to grow in this company. They love this company. You never hear people talk poorly about Tony Khan as a boss, but you hear a lot of people talk poorly about Tony Khan as a booker because a lot of people feel like Tony Khan has too much on his plate. And look, I understand that perspective, but the thing for me is this. No job is perfect. Not everybody will love their boss. Not everybody will love their situation. This is the reason why when people were released from WWE, AEW was there to pick them up. I think the surprising factor, though, has been so many people come into AEW, and the conversation from the AEW loyalists is that, hey, Keith Lee will be far greater here than he'll ever be in WWE. So-and-so will be far greater here than they'll ever be in WWE. And then what ultimately happens is the ball gets dropped, there's no momentum, they start losing TV time, and there's a lot of scenarios where that actually applies. And again, this is not even an opinion at this point. Like, if you look at the roster that they have, it is a large roster, but they don't have enough TV time for everybody. Naturally, people who want to work are going to be bothered by that. On the flip side, they're getting paid pretty damn well to not have to do anything. So it really just depends on the personality trait belonging to the wrestler you are thinking of. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the Ango Show.